was actually quite scared. Hello, good morning. We are off camping this weekend, so I thought I'd bring you along. We are going to Hampton Beach in, what's the area called? Sycon. And I'm going to take you along for the journey to get there and then show you what we get up to. I hope you enjoy it. P.S. Ignore my hair, it's still damp and frizzy from the shower, and I'm sure it will get worse as the day goes on. So we are currently on the fairly short hike over to the beach. We started off by going from Saipan, where we live, over to North Point on the MTR, and from there we changed and went up to Hang Hau. From there we got off the MTR, which is like the tube, the underground train, and we got a bus, and that took us to Sycon, is that right? Sycon, and took a bus for about half an hour or so. How long was that?
Yeah, the Sycon town.
And then from there we got a taxi that cost about a tenner, the equivalent of. We struggled a bit at first to find where the taxis were, but basically if you stay on until the bus kind of gets into the more like pedestrian part, then there's a little bus stop. All the green taxis were there, which was very handy. And now we are walking over to the beach, which is approximately an hour's walk, although the path is really nice. It's like so far beautiful views and then just really smooth, so a pretty easy walk. I thought the path was going to be all downhill. I definitely presumed that too soon because we're now on our way up some steps. Follow the beige brick road. We continue to walk across what I think is Shea Wan Beach, over a hill and onto Hampton Beach. When we got there, the first thing we did was head over to the restaurant and cafe where we were hiring our camping gear from. To get there, you have to cross this tiny little dodgy AF bridge that was basically a plank of wood. This is Barney trying to walk across with a hilarious little dog beating him and then almost falling in. I did not do this because I didn't want to fall in and insanely embarrass myself, so I just walked through the water every time. We set up the tent. I did help, but obviously this does not look like I did at all. Quite a few people had set up tents by then, but it was generally very sparse. And then for the rest of the day, we lounged a bit, we did a lot of swimming, and when I say swimming, I walked around in the water while Barney basically did lengths in the sea. We also had a little walk and a wander across the beach, particularly as sun was setting, which was really nice, and a helicopter decided to come and land on the beach. Not a clue why. Don't think it was an emergency because they weren't quick about it. We then headed to the restaurant for some drinks and dinner, and I pretty much forgot to film anything because I had quite a few beers. Oh, and cue footage of me looking rougher than I have ever looked before. We have woken up after, I will admit, not the most pleasant sleep in the world. It was really lovely to wake up on the beach and just, wake up to the sound of waves crashing and all that poetic shit. It was quite an uncomfortable night's sleep and very loud. Last night we had dinner at the restaurant that was next to the beach, which was really nice. Had some salt and pepper squid and some noodles, but went and grabbed ourselves a coffee at the cafe that's next to the beach. And now we're walking round to a beach that is just over the hill, so kind of fun that we're having a little morning adventure.
Oh my god.
So Barney got scared of this cow that walked in front of us as we were walking through over to the other beach, and then he ran behind me, and we had to stand and let what was actually quite a sweet cow pass. We then walked along the beach, sat down for a bit, and chilled out. And I, of course, got my drone out and took loads of footage, which Barney said was embarrassing because it's narcissistic. What I was yet to know was this was by far the most calming part of our day, and it was about to get really sketchy. So we've packed up our tent and we're currently waiting with all our bags, waiting for the water taxi to come and collect us. But we've just seen other people try and get onto the water taxi, and the waves are pretty aggressive this morning, and the boat basically has to just like reverse onto the shore as much as it can, and then you've got to get in it from just kind of going through the waves, which I'm a little bit apprehensive about, so I'm basically gonna not film that so I don't ruin my camera. I think people must think I'm insane because I'm just sat here talking to myself. We're back, obviously. That wasn't the funnest experience. I was actually quite scared. Like, I know that's overreacting. I mean, maybe I'm a total worst, but it really took any of the relaxing nature out of the weekend. Okay, I'm going to be as succinct as possible about what happened in between just before getting on the boat and where we are now. As I was saying, we're watching people get on the boat and then it came our turn. So we walked over to the water taxi and a couple of brave souls went in front of us. The first person got on okay. The second person, unfortunately, was pushed back and then fell kind of luckily to the side. When I say luckily fell to the side, it's because in my head, I wasn't like scared about falling in the water. My main concern was that what happens if the boat pushes against you, but also pushed backward into the water as a boat is coming towards you and over you? I think I'm a bit naive to this whole situation. Maybe it's way chiller than I'm making it. So we all got onto the boat and I stupidly thought that that was going to be the worst bit of this journey. Not the case, because of course, like, duh, as we got out of the protection of the beach, the waves started to get bigger, and although they weren't breaking, what was particularly unpleasant was we were driving so fast that we were catching air every single time we were going over a wave, and these waves were huge. I was holding on with two hands, and I think if I'd got out my phone or like my camera, it would be long gone by now. We eventually reached land. There was one thing, however, that fair play did totally redeem that whole experience, and it's what happened next. Before I tell you, if you think I'm an idiot, click the like button, and if you've got this far, then maybe hit subscribe and the bell. I mean, if you've got this far into the video, fair play to you. So the thing that, of course, redeems almost every situation is food. So after we got off the boat, we had a wander around. We came across this place called Let's Jam. This place, oh, so good. I think just after like an unsettling experience, to find a place that serves you a delicious iced coffee, because I'm a basic bitch, and a full fry-up breakfast with this thick wedge of toast, and it had any jam from this like massive list that you could pick. So I picked myself some apple and cinnamon jam. I went with that because it's getting wintry. I kind of thought it's festive, why not? If you're ever in that area, definitely go for that breakfast. And yeah, we made it home, travelled back the way we came, obviously, and I survived. So, I mean, what's the moral of this story? Food solves everything. That is the moral. I hope you have wonderful days, and see you all soon. Oh god, I was almost about to do that thing that people are doing on Zoom calls where they wave goodbye. Ugh.